Hey Sprata, it's Otter here, and today we're going to be talking about the water cycle. So, all of you guys have showered, washed your hands, brushed your teeth, and eaten food, right? What's in common with all of those things? That's right, water. Water, just like sunshine, is essential to everything in the world. From plants to animals, everything depends on water to live and grow. That's why water is such a big part of the environment. But water also exists in 3 different forms: solid, like ice, liquid, like water, and gas, like air. Let's go over to Sloth to hear about the different forms that water can take.
Hi everyone, I'm Sloth, and today I'm going to tell you about the 3 different states of matter that water is found in. And believe it or not, you can actually find all of those states of water in your own kitchen. Let me show you. Let's talk about solid water first. Can you think of the name we give to solid or frozen water? Ice. So I got some ice from my freezer right here, and I'm going to use it to make my water nice and cold. Now we're going to talk about liquid water. And liquid water is the type of water that we all need to survive and stay hydrated. Liquid water is also the type of water that's in rivers, lakes, and oceans. And so I'm going to get some liquid water from my sink and put it in my glass with the ice. And depending on where you live, you might get your water from a water filter or from the fridge, but I get mine from the sink. Delicious. Now I'm also going to fill up my tea kettle right here with liquid water because it's going to turn the water into our 3rd state, gas. Okay, so I went ahead and put the kettle on the stove. So now I'm just going to turn the burner on so that it heats up. Alright, so our water is boiling, so you can hear the sound of the kettle, so I'm going to turn it off. And can you see the steam or the gas coming out? Now that's water in its gas form. I think you should be able to see it just barely.
Thanks, Sloth. So now we know that water can exist in 3 forms: solid, liquid, and gas. And it's not just in your small little kitchen, but actually can expand to the whole world. That's where the water cycle comes in. The water cycle has 3 parts: evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Evaporation occurs in the same way that water turns from a liquid to a gas. Condensation occurs when that gas gets turned back into a liquid after cooling it down. And then, if it gets even colder, it'll precipitate or fall down. So, what does that process look like in the world? Well, let's start at the bottom. On the ground, we have things like lakes, oceans, streams, and other bodies of water. So, the sun works as a giant heating device and turns all of this water on the ground into gas in the same way that the ice cubes melted and the water turned into steam. Then the gas rises into the sky and becomes clouds. Yes, all of those giant clouds that you see on a sunny day, those are all just big pockets of water in the sky. And so water keeps rising and rising and rising, and because all of these water molecules like each other, they all kind of stick together until they get cold enough and heavy enough that they can't be in the air anymore, and instead they start to fall. That's when precipitation happens, and you see rain, snow, sleet, and hail. The last 3 happen when it's cold enough. And then they come back to the ground again, and they rejoin all of these bodies of water. And then it happens again. The sun still shines, so the water keeps evaporating and then condensing and then precipitating again. That's why the process is called a water cycle. It happens over and over again. So let's go over to Bumblebee to hear about a way that you can see the water cycle in your own home.
Hi Sprouts, my name is Bumblebee and I'm going to show you how you can make your own water cycle at home. You can do this using a jar or you can use a plastic bag, and then you're going to want a parent's help because you're going to use some hot water. I've boiled some water in my kettle and brought it outside here. And what you're going to do is put it in your jar. But first, if you want, you can decorate it. So what I've got here is a cotton ball, which I'm going to use to make some clouds. And I've also made a little sun. Alrighty, so now I've decorated my jar and you can see here how it looks. It's got its clouds and its sun, and so now it needs its water, the most important part of the water cycle. So you're gonna take your hot water here, add it to your jar, and if you want, so you can see the water cycle a little better, I'm gonna add a little bit of blue food coloring. Just a couple drops. Then you screw on the lid of your jar and make sure to place it in the sun, and then you can watch the magic happen.
Thanks, Bumblebee. So, do you think you can name the steps of the water cycle? Evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. And do you remember all of the forms of water? That's right, solid, liquid, and gas. Well, that's all for today. Here are some props for being such amazing environmental stewards. Don't forget to check out the fun sheet or any other materials that Sprout Up can provide. Just ask your teacher or parent or guardian for any help. Thanks, Sprout Up!